New year, new us. Order 94.
Clean slate.
Whoa. What's with the kid? I don't know. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
And we're Border 94.
Border 94.
It's a place where we review movies and music. And we tell you if it's borderline crap, gold. Tell us how we get there.
It's a scale system. 1 to 5, they're signifying miles. We're approximately 3 miles from the border. If it's over 3 miles, guess what? Ding ding! We got a winner.
Go.
We recommend it. Under 3, it's complete garbage. And we recommend you don't watch it.
Crap. So we're going to review Bird Box. It's Netflix politically acclaimed film.
Everyone's talking about it. It's if you have Facebook, which almost every person in the world has Facebook now, you've seen 50,000 memes. You've seen 100,000 Instagram videos about it. So we figured this should be the first movie we review.
Absolutely. Stars Sandra Bullock.
Or Michael Jackson if you look at her nose. Who else is in the film? John Malkovich.
John Malkovich. Outside of that, I gotta be honest, I don't know anyone else.
Yeah, I actually think it's a good movie not to have main characters. Or, not main characters.
It definitely...
main actresses.
It adds to the plot. It's always a lot better when you have people that are bad actors or actresses like Sandra Bullock, even though she has won an Oscar. But it makes it much more relatable when you don't know who the people are.
And what's the rundown of the movie?
So, if you only would see The Happening, it's pretty much the same exact movie, except instead of trees and plants killing people, it's supernatural forces.
Spirits, demons.
John Malkovich.
Shotguns.
The only difference in this movie is, so basically they're in a world where you can't see. You have to wear a blindfold to basically not see whatever the supernatural force is that makes you kill yourself.
If you see it, possesses you, and it does not end well.
But there's a twist.
But there is a twist. And what's that twist?
So there's some people in the world that are, what was the term they used? Was it like mentally unstable?
Yeah, clinically insane.
Yeah, clinically insane. So basically, clinically insane people are basically impervious to this force. And they basically see the spirits and welcome them, and the spirits don't make them kill themselves. So they're fine. They actually enjoy this madness that's going on in the world.
It's beautiful, you must see it.
Yeah, they say stuff like that, pretty much.
Also, blind people are obviously not affected.
He just ruined the end of the movie.
I just absolutely ruined it. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. So, they take sanctuary at the end in a blind school for the blind.
Should we just do a disclaimer now? If you haven't seen the movie, please watch the movie before you do this. Watch this video. And then watch the video, of course.
And if you're blind, you're safe.
You're 100% safe.
You also can't see the movie.
Stevie Wonder's fine. If Ray Charles was still alive, he'd be fine. Stevie Wonder's actually thriving because he can play music and he's blind, so he's good to go. So the rundown of the movie is, how does it start off, Chris? What's the first scene?
So, Sandra Bullock is basically telling two children that they're going to be traveling down a river. It's going to take a lot of hours. It's going to be a lot of obstacles, we'll just say.
Yes.
And that they can't take their blindfolds off. Not at all. And they have to listen to everything she says, or she's going to...
She's abusing these kids at the beginning of the movie.
Pretty much.
She's yelling at them sternly. I mean, death is a part of the equation, so I get it. I yell at kids even when death isn't part of the equation. So they're going down the river.
And
then it cuts to a flashback 5 years earlier.
5 years earlier, correct. And it basically shows how the world got to this state. And it basically starts in Russia, pretty much like everything that's collusion in this world. And people start killing themselves. It's on the news. She's pregnant at that time with a child. Oh, boy. And her sister comes over and says, do you see what's going on in the news? People are killing themselves. She just, coincidentally has a doctor's appointment, so they end up going to the hospital. She doesn't want the child. Her boyfriend or husband, we're not 100% sure on
Brian.
that. We know his name is Brian.
But it's like any other movie where a disaster, somehow it hits America last. That always happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like I'd rather it happen first.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, because then you don't have to worry about it. Like, there's just people killing themselves, it's over.
It could be telling us so that we kind of use the world for, like our guinea pig.
It could be.
Anyway, so people start killing themselves around the world. They go to the hospital. She doesn't want the kid. Yada yada yada. Kid's coming anyway. And as they're walking out, she sees this woman bashing her face into a glass wall.
Yeah.
Or a glass window.
Glass window in the hospital.
Yeah. And then she just like turns and looks at her and is like, yeah, that's right, I'm killing myself. You're next. You're in for 2 hours and 3 minutes of disaster. Yeah. Good luck. So then she goes running out of there, sprinting like she's Usain Bolt with the child.
Yeah.
And jumps in her sister's car and she's like, it's happening now. She says, it's not happening. And all of a sudden cars are crashing and the world is ending.
And she's like, you watched that crappy movie too?
Yeah, pretty much. And all of a sudden they're driving and then the sister, of course, sees whatever the hell this force is. I don't know how Sandra Bullock at that point didn't see it.
It's, what? What is that?
Yeah.
So they were like, what do you see? What are you seeing?
So don't look into the light gauge.
Of course, like most people, they don't answer and it just really irritates you. I'm surprised she didn't punch her in the face. But, newsflash, she starts steering the car all over the place.
She's trying to hit people. She's trying to hit kids on bikes.
She's trying to kill herself.
Yeah. Well, it looked like kind of like she was trying to kill some other people in the process.
She was trying to take some people down. Which
yeah.
I respect that.
If you're going to go down and bring down other people.
Fire's a-blazing. Or guns a-blazing.
So she flips over the car.
Flips it over.
They're laying there. Sandra Bullock is still, again, not a scratch on her. Makeup
and somehow
on there.
she still has this kid. I don't get it.
Yeah, she fell quite a bit on her stomach during this process.
There was a guy who literally pushed her down twice.
Twice, yeah.
Twice, and very hard. It wasn't a light push. It was like...
And she didn't land on her shoulder, didn't land on the side, right on the belly. It was like a bouncy ball.
Yeah.
So anyway, her sister puts herself in front of a bus. She gets killed.
She's done.
Yeah, splattered her. And of course Sandra Bullock's like, is she okay? Let me just make... Oh, yeah, she's dead. The bus explodes. I don't even know. Her sister must have had some homing device on her.
It's so funny because that was the moment she... Oh, she didn't make it.
Yeah.
It's like she just got hit by a bus. You saw blood splatter everywhere. And she's contemplating, maybe I should go see... Oh.
Now she's gone.
She's gone.
And then she's about to get hit by another car, and someone actually pushes her out of the way of it in this line of people that are sprinting across the street. She's sprinting, and all of a sudden she gets pushed down, goes to get up, gets pushed down again. She's laying there in the street helpless. At this point, she's just like, let me just look at one of these things and just end it.
This kid's like a cat. He's got 9 lives.
John Malkovich's wife is in a house, and she's like, I gotta go get her. She's pregnant. And he's like, no, don't go. You're gonna definitely, something bad's gonna happen to you.
Let her die.
Let her die. And she's like, no, I gotta save her. And she runs down there, of course, saves her, picks her up, and then... she goes, well, Tom, there's this character, Tom. He kind of assists in this.
Oh, no, that was after.
Oh, right after.
That was after. She goes, Mom?
Yeah.
The 2 cars that collided, both on fire. She goes inside the car.
Let me jump in, shotgun.
Yeah. She's like, Mom, okay, we're going...
John Malkovich is looking, and he's like, oh, well, there goes that.
You killed my wife, you bitch.
Yeah. So some guy comes running, picks her up, and his name is Tom. He brings her up to the house. He's knocking. They open the door. John Malkovich is like, no, leave him out there to die. He just killed my wife. Mm-hmm. Asian guy who owns the house, he opens it up. I don't know what his name is, but if you've seen Gotham, he's the doctor on that show. You've seen that show?
Oh, yeah, I have seen that show.
Yeah, I forgot what...
He looked familiar.
Yeah.
He's in a movie, too. What movie
He's in a ton of movies. I just can't think of his name.
I'm thinking with, like, slicked hair for some reason.
Anyway, so it's his house. He opens the door. He's like, it's my house. I'm opening the door. Yeah. Opens the door, lets him in there, and then they're basically living in this house now while this Maccabee is going on outside. Everyone's dying.
Yeah, fast forward 10 minutes, I see Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, Machine Gun Kelly's in the movie.
They don't even... He doesn't know. His wife doesn't know who Machine Gun Kelly is.
No,
now you know.
Said it. No, you said it, and then I saw him, and I knew who he was. I didn't know by the name. Not an avid rap fan, although maybe in the process of Border 94 I may become one.
He did Rap Devil, and then...
He's the guy who attacked
Well, that's how he attacked him, because he had the song Rap God, so he did Rap Devil.
Okay.
And then Eminem did a... What was the name of it? It was like a rebuttal, I guess. I don't know what it would be called.
Not a rebuttal.
Kill Shot. That was the name of it. Kill Shot.
So he's dead.
Well, I guess
Well, he's definitely dead after Bird Box, I can tell you that.
Yeah, he's dead.
So they're living in this house. Everyone's trying to mesh and get to know each other. Sandra Bullock,
Bullock.
Yeah,
John's just an absolute douche throughout the whole thing, but
everyone.
He was right the whole time.
100%.
I would absolutely listen.
If it were up to John, everyone would be dead.
Everyone would be alive.
No, he'd be alive.
Yeah. They should have stayed at the store.
Should
They should have absolutely stayed.
So anyway, fast forward a little bit. They're
Yeah,
living in
let's
this
fast forward
house, and a couple days pass, and then someone comes up with the brilliant idea that there's security cameras around this house.
Oh my
The
god.
Asian guy, and he's like,
Just absolutely dumb.
upstairs I have security cameras. I want you to tie me to a chair so that I can't hurt myself, so that if I see this, whatever this is outside, and it makes me want to kill myself, it's not going to happen. So, now, I don't even know, how did they figure out that people were seeing it?
I don't know.
Like, I feel like out of nowhere they just were like, oh, we got to close our eyes.
I don't know. I feel like different people pieced it.
No, you know what? When his wife got in the car, she said she saw her mother or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And then, it was the other guy, Charles, that was staying with them. The guy who was writing the book. He started spewing out the Bible and all these different religions.
And they're like, "What, did you go to school for this?" No, he's like,
No, I work at the grocery store.
I work at the grocery store.
I work at Acme.
High school dropout. I Wikipedia it all.
Yeah. So he was writing a novel in the midst of this. And so fast forward, they know each other. They find him down there. They turn the security footage on. He's like, come on. I don't see anything. He's welcoming it like, come on, let me see this son of a...
And it was infrared. I thought it was an infrared camera. Where you just see heat.
No, he
No, it's just regular cameras around the house. Like, so stupid.
Dumb.
He deserved to die.
100%. So of
But
course...
he lived. No, he didn't. He died.
So, of course, he sees this on the camera, and he's like, oh, I see it. And they're like, oh, well, at least he's tied down. This will be okay. He starts freaking out. He's trying to get himself loose. He can't. So what does he decide to do? He just keeps throwing the chair side to side, hoping it'll tilt. And he's like, oh, how convenient. I've got this rock-ledge stone wall in my office that's also known as the chimney. So he propels himself into that, smashes his skull open. He's bleeding to death. They open the door and they're like, oh,
they come in with blindfolds.
They come on, no, they're covering their eyes.
Oh.
And they're like, get the screen. So someone feels it, they push it down, they stomp it down. They're like, all right, that's enough. The screen is clearly done. And then they open their eyes and there he's bleeding to death. And they're just like, oh, God.
But it wasn't done. It fixed it. No, it was done.
So, fast forward again. Machine Gun Kelly and this girl had this sexual tension going on pretty much for the 20 minutes. Well, it started like everything else. He's like, hey, listen, you're going to get it. And she's like, you don't even think about it.
Get it. And then
it'll never happen. 10 minutes later, Sandra Bullock's like, I'm going to go do laundry. Opens the laundry room door.
Yeah. It's happening.
Need I say more? Machine Gun Kelly was expelling bullets.
I feel like they... Ooh, that was good.
I know.
But then Eminem came with the kill shot. He actually made a special appearance. No, he didn't.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Didn't make a cameo.
So...
He was a speaker.
Oh, we forgot a completely important part.
What?
So right prior to that, another pregnant girl shows up at the house. She's knocking.
Yeah.
They're still in trust mode, except for John Malkovich.
No, he
except for John Malkovich. He's like, don't let her in, let her die, leave the door shut. And they're like, listen, John, we're opening that freaking door. So they open the door. It's how do I say this?
Rotund?
She's a large woman, pregnant.
She's overweight.
It seems like she'd be large even without the child.
She's a little overweight.
So, yeah. So they open the door for her, and she has a blindfold on. You're like, how the f*** did she navigate through the streets? And there's dead bodies in the streets.
Yeah,
there's flames.
Yeah, and then there's people trying to kill themselves.
Right, there's people trying to kill themselves. She navigates there in the middle of the night, knocks, they open the door, and this is days later. This isn't like 10 minutes after they first got to the house.
This is a few days later.
So they open, they let her in, she's pregnant.
No, she lived down the street. She did
live down the street.
That's still, a block in this type of chaos?
Yeah, a block's like a million miles.
It's more than enough.
It's definitely more than crossing a border.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
So she gets there, and they're like, what happened? And they're like, so one of the guys just asked her, are you pregnant? Like, let me tell you, it was kind of like, and he totally went out there, and it worked. Thank God. He threw the jump shot up, Hail Mary, and the guy came down with it in the end zone. So she's pregnant, and then she's like, oh, well, she's pregnant too. And he's like, oh, great. John Malkovich's complaining already about the food. He's already complaining about the food rations because the pregnant b****s are eating all the food. And now he's at another one, and he's like, oh, God, this is just crazy. So she's like, when do you do? Oh, I'm due October 1st. When do you do? The end of September. And you're like, okay, I see where this is going. See where this is going.
Fast forward, they come up with the bright idea of going to the grocery store that guy worked at.
Yeah.
So they end up paint, which is smart. They paint the windshields,
They went all like, what was that movie? Daywalkers. Remember the vampire movie?
Yeah.
So they paint it with black paint, put all this paper on the inside.
And we're both thinking, how the
hell are they going to get around?
Like,
it's not possible. But I forgot that every modern vehicle has the sensors around the car.
Well, the sensors and then the nav.
And the navigation
Tom,
system.
the smartest guy in the film, he goes, well, besides John, of course, because
John was smart.
Yeah.
Everyone would be alive if it was John.
Well, he would be alive. Let's just put it that way.
He's everyone.
He would, yeah. He kind of was everybody. Tom goes, we'll use the navigation. And I go, oh! Like, we both
yeah.
like, oh,
we're like, oh, duh.
We're so
navigation.
stupid.
So then we're like, but wait, how are they going to drive around? So we're like, oh, yeah, the sonar system, the sensors. All right. So they're driving like a half a mile an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hit a dead body, and they're like, that wasn't a speed bump. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
so
it was someone's head.
They're almost about to hit a car, so they're steering around because it's telling which part of the sonar system on the car, and then all of a sudden the supernatural beings come there.
Spirits.
And the sonar system's going off everywhere, and they're just like, oh god. And the guy
in the back, he's like, let me out.
Let me out.
Whoa, the safest place you could be is there.
It's in the car.
It's in the vehicle. Like, it's like would be going outside in a lightning storm.
Another thing that we didn't explain is how they couldn't get into houses. Like, what stopped them from going to a home? Was it natural air and light? But then
the spirits, no clue.
And dark, yeah, it made no sense on that front.
It's like when a kid puts the covers over them, thinking the boogeyman's not going to go under the covers.
It's true.
Which it is true. I still
and there was definitely a theme where like people were very concerned about kids.
Yeah.
I still think there's something to this whole kids thing. Anyway, well, they're innocent. They do stand for innocence.
We need to fast forward this baby even more.
So
let's go warp speed.
So they get to the grocery store. John Malkovich is immediately looking for the alcohol aisle.
Yes.
He gets there, alcohol aisle, they're shopping. Sandra Bullock finds birds. And it's like, I'm going to take them.
Yeah.
We don't know why.
No clue.
Just take them.
Oh,
we know why.
Like, we need the
At
title.
That point we didn't.
We need to title the thing Bird Box, so you need to bring birds. So we go, okay, we'll
So she takes the birds, and all of a sudden they hear this knocking in the back of the store, and they don't know what. I thought it was the freezer inside the shop.
So did I.
It looked like it.
Absolutely.
So all of a sudden, Charles, the guy who worked there, is like, "Oh, that's Billy. He's the guy who just got out of jail, but he seems like a really nice guy." He says that, and we're like, "Okay, that's a little weird." So he's like, "Please let me in. I need help." And we're all like, "Oh no!" And the birds start freaking out. They're like, "Ah!"
But
Charles, a dolphin.
Charles knew
they're not dolphins. They're birds.
Charles is like, "Oh."
Yeah, Charles is like, he was a nice guy, opened the door, and they're like, and the guy outside is yelling, they're coming for me, and we're like, what the hell is he talking about? And he's saying he could see.
It's a trick.
Right. So we're like, well, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
so they start opening the door, he's trying to push it open. You realize now that he's outside, and you're thinking, okay, he can see and his eyes are open, how come he's not dead?
Yeah, he should have killed himself.
He hasn't killed himself. So then all of a sudden, Charles is like, I ain't having this. He goes kamikaze, pushes the guy through the door with him, and then they shut the door, lock it, and they're like, what happened to Charles? Like, what do you mean what happened to Charles? He clearly just propelled his body outside of the damn store to save you assholes.
Well, 2 seconds later, remember the blood?
And then all of a sudden blood starts spilling out, and you're like, oh God, maybe it's not Charles, and all of a sudden you hear the crazy guy, and he's like, it's so beautiful! And you're like, oh God, poor Charles. So they all leave, and John Malkovich at one point was like, we should just stay here and not even leave. We'll live here for years. And then those crazy people showed up, and you're like, okay. So
let's fast forward this, baby.
So he comes knocking, he's got a blindfold on there, and John Malkovich says, don't let this
Yeah, he's lying.
He's lying. And then they knock him out. They let the guy in. He seems like he's a nice guy, and then all of a sudden, like, the two girls are going into labor at the same time. Didn't see that coming.
Forgot about that.
And they're upstairs getting babies delivered, and all of a sudden he sits down, he puts music on. His eyes are starting to get a little weird, and that's what happens when you're going to kill yourself. Your eyes get weird. So all of a sudden his eyes get weird. He starts sketching, and he's sketching clearly looks like demons.
Yeah, they're like ghouls.
And it's all black.
God,
like he just got out of a psych ward, and he's drawing psych ward stuff.
It's like Insidious. Remember when she's...
Yeah. He's like, it's beautiful. And he's just drawing. And you're like, oh, God. John Malkovich was right.
Yes.
The birds start freaking out. He goes inside, takes the bird, sticks them in the fridge. John Malkovich is in the garage lock, and he's like, what are you doing? Yeah. And he's like, don't you worry, John. You knew already what I was going to do. Ha ha.
You were the only smart one in this place.
So they have their babies. He knocks out Tom. He goes upstairs with scissors. he makes the woman who's pregnant or just had the baby, not Sandra Bullock, the other one, the heavier one. He makes her look outside by opening the windows. She looks, and right before she's about to like kill herself, Sandra Bullock takes the baby away. She propels herself out
the window.
Old woman. He grabs the old woman who's trying to find him with scissors.
If you've seen the meme, I know you've seen it because I've seen it, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" It's like,
yeah, he's opening her eyelids. She starts jamming. Yeah, he's going like this to her, like, yeah, and then she starts jamming the scissors in her. He grabs the scissors and he's like, "Let me see the babies. Let me see the babies." We're like, "What's going on?" Sandra Bullock's under the covers so that the light can't get her. And then John Malkovich comes and he's like, "I'm gonna save the day." He's got the shotgun. He shoots the guy in the arm.
He can't see though.
Can't see because he's got his eyes closed. He's just going by sound. Hits the guy in the arm. The guy tackles him. They fall down the steps. He kills John Malkovich. Poor John, because he saw this coming. He's the only one who knew. And then Tom picks up the gun that's on the floor. You don't know, and then he takes it away. He kills the guy. Papa!
Well, you hear two gunshots.
Yeah, Papa with a shotgun, which didn't make sense.
And they're like, "Oh my God, someone's going to come up the stairs. Is it going to be Tom or is it going to be this psychopath?"
So it's Tom.
Yes.
So Tom saves Sandra Bullock. So now they fast forward. You're seeing their lifestyle now.
And they kind of had sexual tension before that. Like, it was like if she wasn't pregnant, it would have happened much sooner. Yeah. But she was pregnant, and then, like their water broke. Now
he was packing heat, and he didn't want to hit the kid in the head. I get it.
Yeah. Well, totally. You'll know what... Well, you probably already know what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So now fast forward, you could clearly see that they're in the time frame of when the movie started, when they're heading down the river. But
yeah,
it's
like, they start
training 5 years later.
This is what a rock sounds like when you throw it on the ground.
Yeah, and how it echoes, and then tapping rocks. So they're training themselves how to hear things and know how to move.
When you lose one of your senses, you need to strengthen the other ones.
100%. So Sandra Bullock is now going to find food. She finds lingerie, and when she's in this random house, all of a sudden these cars drive up, and you see them doing these circles, and you're going, those people look crazy.
Those people could see.
Yeah.
Because it was all tinted out, and they're like, these people could see.
Yeah.
Or Jeff Gordon's in that car.
One or the other. Could be Jeff Gordon, and maybe he was clinically insane. No one knows.
I was holding out. I thought it could have been.
So
wasn't.
She gets back to the house. She's like, "Oh, look, I found lingerie for later when we..."
No, he found. He's like, "What's this for?" She's like, "Survival." Come over here, stud.
Survival.
He takes the strong position.
Well, hold on. So she says...
You weren't there that part.
I wasn't, thank God.
So
she says they were back there again. So there's clearly this world where they know that there's these crazies around.
And this is when we start to piece together, like, oh, if you're a psychopath, it doesn't affect you the same way.
Right.
That's when we started to piece together.
Yeah.
And then he took that strong position, and he's...
so he knocks her out.
He's like, "You did good today, baby.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a beating."
So now
the beating
they're laying down and the walkie-talkie goes off. Forgot, they've been communicating walkie-talkie and no one ever answers.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden it's going off and they're like, "Hey, is anyone there?" Sounds like kind of a creepy voice. He says he's Rick, but it doesn't sound like Rick from The Walking Dead. I know where you're going with this.
I thought it was Rick.
So all of a sudden he's like, "We got a sanctuary. You can come down." And he's like, "Do you have kids?" And she's like, "Yo, got kids?" And he's like, "No, it's 4 adults." He's like, "Oh, thank God." Because there's a point where you're going to come down the river, you're going to have to look at the rapids. Someone's going to have to look.
I don't think you'd make it with the kids.
Someone's going to have to die to save everybody, to steer through the rapids. And then there's a sanctuary at the bottom, and he's giving directions, and then it cuts out.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, we got to go because we got to give them hope, and we got to hope that that's there, whatever."
He tells a nice little story.
So they're like, "We're going to go back to the house, get some supplies, and then we're going to head down the river." They get back to the house.
We hit that lingerie again, and we'll think about it.
They get back to the house. They're gathering stuff, and of course, right before they're about to leave and start heading down the river, the cars are in the driveway, and he's like, "Listen, you go. I'm going to distract them, and then you head down. I'm going to meet you by the boat at the water in 15 minutes. If I'm not there, go without me." Gives her the necklace, so you clearly know this is the end for Tom.
You all knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Everybody knew.
So Tom goes out there. He's got his eyes closed. He's got the shotgun, and you're like, "Oh God, I've seen this again." And he's like, "Oh," and you're like, "Oh," and you see that they're not wearing blindfolds, so it's a group of like 6 people, and one of them has a knife, one's got a machete, and one's got a gun.
Yeah.
And the one who has a gun is the crazy person from The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the gun. Who tried to shoot the mayor.
Yeah. He tried. Yeah, right.
Oh, they think he killed
Commissioner Gordon. Yep, that guy.
Yeah.
He's crazy in every movie, so it totally made sense.
He's a psycho.
In fact, this may be actually. Oh my God! It may be the world from The Dark Knight. Yeah, he got out. So anyway, he made it, and so they're going around with the gun, and you can see that Tom's definitely trying to register where these noises are coming from, and all of a sudden they go running out the back, and one of them sees them, and he goes, "Hey, woman and 2 kids." He
picks them apart.
Picks one off, picks off another one, and then now one pulls out a gun, shoots him in the arm, he falls. They're like, oh boy. You see him taking off the blindfold, and you're like, oh god, this isn't going to be good.
Yeah, this isn't going to go
So
well.
they come around the corner, they just see the blindfold on the grass. He comes around the corner, picks the other one off. Now he sees, while he's picking that one off, the one who had the gun from Arkham Asylum was going after
then he's
her and the
limping,
kids.
'cause he
He's
got hit in the
limping because he
leg.
got hit again.
Ugh.
So he's literally, he picks up their pistol because the shotgun's out, and now
He hears a rustle.
he hears the rustling, which these beings or entities
Spirits.
basically come and these rustling.
Yeah.
So he now looks, and of course his
You
eyes
see
start
his
getting
eyes.
crazy. He overcomes it and fights it, shoots the guy before they gets to the kids, and then puts the gun under his chin and ba-ba. No more Tom. Tom's gone.
Tom's done.
So now it cuts to Sandra Bullock.
Now cut to the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's where she's telling them, listen, we're going to go down the river. You guys got to live. And they're like, oh, is Tom coming? Tom's not coming. Tom's gone. So they get in there. There's also a part when they're going down the river. We forgot about that. Where she hears voices and she tells the kids to stop, like, just hide. And it's this guy in the river, and he didn't have a blindfold on.
Dude,
He's
it's
like, you don't
weird.
need a blindfold. You need to see. And he's attacking her, and she's trying to shoot him, and she can't. And she hits him with a machete a couple times, hits him in the neck.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's so beautiful. You should have seen that. He just goes. And that was our first encounter with seeing someone without a blindfold. And we're
Yeah.
like, what the f*** that
What
mean?
happened?
She just killed the only. He was like, maybe he was God.
And
She just
realistically,
killed
this
God.
guy was huge. He was like an offensive lineman. They would have all.
He would have tipped over the boat.
But it would have been 10-minute movie.
Yeah.
Which actually would have been good.
So anyway, so now she's traveling, and now they're under a blanket, and she's like, all right, guys, listen, we're about to get to the rapids, and one of us is going to have to look. And the son, her son,
Her actual boy.
her actual son,
I'm gonna look.
he goes, I'm going to look. She goes, no, you're not going to look. I'll decide who looks.
We're like,
But I can't look because I have to steer the boat. So it's like, okay, there's only three of them. He said he was going to look. She said no. She said she can't. So like the daughter starts like looking at herself, and
But
she's
it's
like,
not her daughter.
it's not.
That's
Her name's-
the one.
Yeah, it's the
Her name is
the other
Girl.
girl, right? It's the other
Her
girl's
name is Girl.
daughter.
His name is Boy.
But she
Yeah.
essentially raised her the whole time.
Yeah, but she's
So,
like, you're not mine.
It's not hers.
You look like you.
So she starts looking at herself, and she's like, I guess I'm gonna
do it.
Yeah.
And Sandra like, God.
She's like, no one's gonna look.
No one's gonna look.
No one's gonna look.
So pretty much she goes rogue, and it's like
she
we're
goes
all gonna
rogue,
die,
and you're
but
like,
we're-
it looks like it's gonna pan out for a little bit. They're spinning,
Yeah.
but it's like River Wild, and she's like Meryl Streep, and she's
Yeah.
gonna make it, and then all of a sudden you're just like,
boat turns
boat
over.
flips over. You're like,
she's
they're all
going.
dead.
Yeah, well, I was like, okay, she'll probably make it.
Kids
But-
will be dead.
Yeah, these kids didn't learn how to swim. They literally were born into this life.
They made it. So the girl was in shore, like ringing her bell. She's got a bicycle bell. Ring,
Yeah.
ring, ring, ring. She finds her son, who she calls Boy, in the water.
Yeah.
So
And they almost
she gets there.
tease you like we're gonna look. No, we're not. Oh, we're gonna. No, we're not.
Yeah. So now she finds him. She goes looking. They're like the kids get like confused and like are walking away. Now she's trying to find them, and she's yelling to them, and they're both getting tempted by these things to take their blindfolds off. They won't. They're about to do it, and she's like, no. And then she's acknowledging that they're her children.
And that's
please
the thing
don't.
also with these spirits. They talk with familiar voices.
They use
So-
pain, things that scare you, or
So it's
emotional triggers to
Yeah.
basically trick you into taking your blindfold off and then overtake you.
Yeah.
So of course she gets them. They don't take it off, and then what happened? They kept. Oh,
They make it.
So no, they're running from the spirits, and like they're basically surrounded. They get to a
Oh,
door,
the
and
door.
now for the first time, just like in the beginning when she first encounters this world, she's knocking back at the door and
Ironic,
she's
yes.
begging for someone to open it. She's saying she's got children. You definitely feel that there's someone else on this door.
Yeah.
They open it up. They check their eyes. They're like, oh, they're good. But then you hear the voices like, I'm Rick, and you're just like, you kind of not
Oh,
knowing how you
God.
should feel about this.
Yeah. It's
And then he asks them to go into this room, and he's like, you can open your eyes, but you can clearly see there's a light, and you're like, oh, God, it looks like freaking daylight. They take him off, and then all of a sudden he's like, here, welcome to our world. And you see a plaque on the wall, and it's
Dude.
like, school for the blind, and you're like, oh, sanctuary. That totally makes sense. This is a world where blindness matters. Blind lives matter.
No, it's actually a
was
benefit.
genius.
It's a strength.
Yeah.
Because you've already heightened your senses.
Heighten the ear sense. So they get
But
in
what
there.
I was thinking is,
So wait.
as soon as we hear that voice of Rick, I'm like, oh my God. Remember
Oh,
remember
100%.
Ari Gold?
Yeah.
Bay of pigs go, Lloyd. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, they're gonna get slaughtered.
They're gonna get
Oh
slaughtered.
my
It's
God,
bad.
it's realistic.
Yeah. I thought he was going to be like, look, and then he open the curtains.
Yeah.
Ah! So So they're in this room, and all of a sudden they're in this sanctuary, and you're like, there's natural daylight, and there's some people blind and some people that aren't. Yeah, it's a courtyard, and it looks like direct sunlight, but it turns out it's a bird sanctuary in the school for the blind, so there's like plants and natural vines growing, and you look up, but everything's covered enough by the...
It's like ivory.
Yeah, ivory and stuff, so that the natural sunlight's coming in, but you can't see it. It's almost like putting a shade over it.
And the blind guy goes, well, the birds will tell us if they're near. And they're like,
the birds.
Bird box, got it.
But no, but that's the whole thing. So they're in a bird box. You need to be in the bird box to survive.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
That's what it is.
So, I think it's a question everyone's wondering.
Yeah, so where do we stand on the border? 1 to 5. What's your distance?
Does it cross the 94 border?
I don't know.
Border 94. Border 94. I actually like the movie more now that we talked it out. I feel much better about it.
You were a little iffy halfway through.
I've been contemplating. It's like 2.9, 3.1. I think it's a 3.2. You may have to siphon some gas to get there. You may need an extra push to go over border 94. But by God, it gets there.
All right, so you're just crossing the border.
I'm just crossing it. I think it's it's not necessarily a movie that I would want to watch again, but it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah. By the way, it's also a book, just so you guys know. This is based off a book, which I didn't know until we watched it.
No clue. So the end credits.
So my distance, I'm going to give it a 3.8.
Ooh.
So
that's actually not bad.
It's far over the border. It's far enough over that you don't got to worry. With that said, I don't necessarily know if I would watch it again.
No, I wouldn't.
But it's a movie where it clearly, there's a meme out there, I'm sure you all have seen it by now, where it's basically insinuating, it says, hey, can I copy your homework? And it's like, yeah, just change a couple of the answers so the teacher doesn't know. And it starts up on the top, it says The Happening, and on the bottom it's Bird Box. And I didn't know what it meant until I watched the movie. It takes The Happening and enhances it and makes it make a lot more sense, and it doesn't become geopolitical in its message. So I actually enjoyed it. I don't necessarily know if I'd watch it again, but it's a solid 3.8. I would encourage people to watch it. Definitely, especially for a Netflix movie. Because that's honestly the first, I think, Netflix movie I've ever watched. I've watched Netflix shows, never watched a Netflix movie.
I think I've watched a few Netflix movies.
Yeah?
The one with Will Smith.
Was it Night?
Yeah, something like that.
Day Night or
yeah, it was
Night
Dream. Light, something light.
No, I think it's Bright.
Yeah, Bright. Anyway, like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe.
Please share. Please share. And also comments. Comments on what you thought of the movie, and also requests. What should we review next?
Movies, music, doesn't matter.
Song. Oh, I don't know. You tell us. Well, that about wraps it up.
Yeah.
So we both say 3.8.
3.8, 3.2.
Siphon some gas. Just mix it over the border. It is worth a watch.
Definitely.
Excuse me, I'm filming. That's not funny.
What the hell just happened? I don't know, but it's borderline crazy.